In the series of Read Aloud series, Indian Economic Development. Now we are doing Unit 2, which is Economic Reform since 1991. And in the Unit 2, we have only one chapter, that is Chapter 3, which is Liberalization, Privatization, and Globalization and Appraisal. In that, we're going to discuss about the background, then what is liberalization, what is privatization, and structural reform policies are long-term measures aimed at improving the efficiency of the economy and increasing its international competitiveness by removing the rigidities in various segments of the Indian economy. The government initiated a variety of policies which fall under three heads, that is liberalization, privatization, and globalization. So let's do privatization. Privatization implies shedding of the ownership or management of a government-owned enterprise. Government companies are converted into private companies in two ways. One, by withdrawal of the government from ownership and management of the public sector companies, and or second, by outright sale of public sector companies. So, privatization of the public sector undertakings by selling of part of the equity of the PSUs, that is public sector undertakings, to the public is known as disinvestment. The purpose of the sale, according to the government, was mainly to improve financial discipline and facilitate modernization. It was also envisaged that private capital and managerial capabilities could be effectively utilized to improve the performance of the PSUs. The government envisaged that privatization could provide strong impetus to the inflow of foreign direct investment, FDI. The government has also made attempts to improve the efficiency of PSUs, public sector undertakings, by giving them autonomy in taking managerial decisions. For instance, some PSUs have been granted special status as Maharatnas, Navaratnas, and Mini Ratnas. They have written in this box number, C box number 3.1. So I'm just going to do that first before we go on to globalization. So third chapter in the first box, Navaratnas and public enterprise policies. Follow me in your books, students. So here I'm just going to read out. You must have read in your childhood about the famous Navratnas, or the 9 jewels, in the imperial court of King Vikramaditya, who were eminent persons of excellence in the fields of art, literature, knowledge. In order to improve efficiency, infuse professionalism, and enable them to compete more effectively in the liberalized global environment, the government identifies PSUs and declare them as Maharatnas, Navaratnas, and Mini Ratnas. They were given greater managerial and operational autonomy in taking various decisions to run the company efficiently and thus increase their profits. Greater operational, financial, and managerial autonomy has also been granted to profit-making enterprises referred to as Mini Ratnas. In 2011, about 90 public enterprises were designated with different status. A few examples of public enterprises with their status are as follows: Maharatnas: A. Indian Oil Corporation Limited, B. Steel Authority of India Limited. Then you have the Navaratnas 2, Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited. Then B. Mahanagar Telephone Nigam Limited. And then you have the Mini Ratnas, Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited, B. Airport Authority of India, and C. Indian Railways Catering and Tourism Corporation Limited. So many of these profitable PSUs were originally formed during the 1950s and 1960s, when self-reliance was an important element of public policy. They were set up with the intention of providing infrastructure and direct employment to the public so that quality end product reaches the masses at a nominal cost and the companies themselves were made accountable to all stakeholders. The granting of status resulted in better performance of these companies. Scholars allege that instead of facilitating public enterprises in their expansion and enabling them to become global players, the government partly privatized them through disinvestment. Of late, the government has decided to retain them in the public sector and enable them to expand themselves in the global markets and raise resources by themselves from financial markets. So now we're coming to globalization.